Regina, are you there? I was wondering if you wouldn't mind helping out with some grocery shopping tomorrow. I imagine that you're free tomorrow, right? So please come over at the usual time to help me. I'm going to be buying some food today, but I also need some toilet bowl cleaner as well as toilet paper.
Hello, Diane. I'm sorry to say this, but I can't go out and do your shopping anymore.
What are you talking about? You know that my legs aren't doing so well and that I can't go out and shop by myself anymore. If you don't do all my shopping for me at least once a week, then how am I supposed to get the things I need to live? Quit being so selfish and just do what I say.
Did you really just call me that? If that's really how you feel, I think that maybe you should go check yourself into a hospital.
How many times have I told you? Aside from my legs, I'm perfectly healthy, and there's no need for me to go see anyone.
Hello, Diane. I'm sorry that I had to disappear in the middle of our conversation. I was getting the bandages around my head replaced and put my phone down to do it.
Bandages on your head? What happened? Did you get hurt or something recently? I can certainly see banging your head into something, since you're such a klutz.
I actually received this injury from you today, Diane. I told you that I wasn't really feeling well, but you forced me to go to your family reunion. I couldn't even participate in anything. You just made me cook all the food and serve it to everyone. Then, right when I thought it was done, you came up from behind and hit me in the head with a pot.
The only reason I hit you was because I caught you sitting and I needed to teach you a lesson. You needed to learn that you don't get to rest until every single one of your guests has gone home.
But I had already done so much for you, and all while feeling bad, and besides, they weren't even my guests. They were yours. All I wanted was to get off my feet for a little bit. But I wasn't even sitting 1 minute before you showed up. Then you started saying all these horrible things, like just because I send money to you every month doesn't mean I can laze around, and that your daughter works so much harder than I do, and then you smacked me upside the head.
Oh, please, don't be such a baby. I barely even hit you that hard.
Are you kidding me? There was blood coming out of my head. I don't know why you always treat me like this. Ever since your husband died, I've been waiting on you hand and foot, even sending you money every month to help cover all your expenses. I feel like I do every little thing that you ask of me. I know that your daughter got married and moved away, so it's hard to count on them for much help, and I'm not expecting them to make the trip down for everything you need either. But I just don't get why you had to compare me to your daughter when I was the one there actually helping you. And on top of that, on top of all the help and support I gave you, getting hit in the head is all I get in return.
You must really think you're the center of the universe or something, don't you? You married my oldest son, so of course you are always going to be helping me with whatever I need. And you keep going on and on about the money you send, but it's only $2,500 a month.
And you're telling me that isn't enough for you?
I know damn well that my son works his butt off at his job, and then he makes more than enough for the both of you. And yet you insisted on keeping your job even though you knew it meant that you would be spending less time helping me. You sending me that money was a way to help make up for ignoring your responsibilities towards me, and it barely covers that.
I'm sorry, but I think that money is more than enough for you to live off of, Diane.
It's enough for me to get by on, and if I never want to do anything fancy for the rest of my life.
Look, I'm about to go to the hospital to get all of this looked at, and I just want you to know that I will be charging you for my medical bills.
Excuse me? Is that supposed to be some kind of joke or something? You really need to get off your high horse if you think that this is how you get to treat people for a measly $2,500 a month. I should have hit you harder in the head. Then maybe you would have finally come to your senses. You'll never make me pay for your hospital bills.
Okay, fine then. If that's really how you want to play it, then I'll just stop sending you money entirely.
Why don't you just go ahead and try it? Just remember that to me, That's all you're good for, and if you stop paying me, I will make my son leave you.
Hey, Regina, where are you right now? I just got home and no one else was there. I'm starting to get worried. All the lights were off and everything. Did something happen?
Oh, Ben, I'm really sorry. I've been so busy that I haven't been able to reach out to you all day. I'm actually just about to leave the hospital right now.
Wait, the hospital? What were you doing there? Did you get hurt?
Well, your mom hit me in the head with a cooking pot. And she hit me right in the lip of the pot, so I was bleeding from the wound a little bit and went to go get examined. Thankfully, the doctor said that it wasn't as bad as it could have been, and there's no brain damage or anything.
I'm sorry, back up. Did you say that your mom hit you in the head with a cooking pot? Why were you even with my mom in the first place? I thought you said that you weren't feeling well and that you weren't gonna go to my mom's family party thing. You even told me that she said that she was fine if you didn't go.
I know I said that, but then she showed up to our place ringing the doorbell and wouldn't leave until I went with her. She was making such a racket, and I just wanted to get her away before any neighbors noticed.
What is the matter with her? Why would she do something like that? I'm so sorry this happened, Regina. I should have been more strict with my mom about this kind of thing. And I wasn't, and now you got hurt as a result of my not wanting to stand up to my mom.
Thank you so much, Ben. But please don't blame yourself for any of this. I'll let you know once I'm done here, okay?
Yes, please let me know, and tell me if there's anything I can do for you.
Hey Ben, I'm all done, and I think I've been cleared to go home. Would you mind coming to pick me up?
Of course, I'll be right there. And then I think that I'm going to have a long talk with my mom. There is no way I'm going to sit back and do nothing now that something like this has happened.
I really don't think you need to do that, Ben.
What do you mean? You don't want me to talk to my mom about this?
No, it's not that. I just really don't think that your mom is gonna listen to anything we try and say to her. Besides, there's something else.
Something else? So what do you mean by that?
I mean that today, while I was at the hospital, I found out that I'm pregnant.
Wait, really? Are you serious?
Yeah, they did a full-body physical on me and finally used the sonogram and found out. That's why it took me so long to get checked out. But now I'm so grateful that at least I didn't fall on the floor after your mom hit me. Things could have turned out much, much worse. Especially for this baby I have inside of me. But anyways, for the time being, I really just don't want to see your mom at all. I don't know if she's gonna try to hurt me again.
I understand that, but I don't think that we can just cut off my mom like it's nothing. If anything, trying to do so might just aggravate her more.
So you're still not quite ready to stop talking to your mom entirely then? Even after this?
I know what you're probably thinking about me. Even I'm wondering if this wouldn't have happened if I did something like that sooner.
No, I understand it's asking a lot of you to stop talking to your mom. But I have another idea if you'd like to listen to it.
Hey, Regina, just what the heck is going on here, huh? I thought I told you to go out and do my shopping yesterday. Why isn't it done?
Good morning, Diane. I wasn't able to do your shopping yesterday because, as I told you, I was in the hospital. They kept me there late because they wanted to make sure I didn't have any permanent head damage.
I knew I didn't hit you hard enough. If I did, you wouldn't still be making excuses about why you don't want to help out your poor mother-in-law. But at this rate, I'm going to starve. Is that what you want?
Honestly, I don't think it would really bother me if you did.
Excuse me? What did you just say? How dare you say something like that to a poor old woman like me? You're nothing but a rotten, mean person.
Listen, Diane, I'm not trying to be rude here, but you do have a daughter of your own. In fact, she was there at your little family get-together yesterday. So much of your family was. And yet I was the one who did all of the cooking and serving. Why didn't you ask anyone else for help?
Because they were all my guests and I was hosting them, of course.
I understand that, but everyone there was family, and I don't get why it would have been so bad to ask for help. Instead, you just put all the work on me and then went to socialize. In fact, not only did I have to cook and serve everyone, but your daughter even gave me her child to look after.
And just what's wrong with that, huh? Don't you realize how busy she is raising her kids all the time? The least you could have done for her was take her kids off her hands for a while and give her a break. I can't believe that all you ever do is complain. Do you enjoy being the way you are?
Regina, are you there? I just want to let you know that I went to the town hall and picked up those documents. It was a bit of a hassle, but I think we got all the paperwork we need. How are you feeling, by the way? You're not straining yourself at all, right? I'll take care of everything at home, so don't worry about that.
Hey there, Ben. Yes, I feel a lot better and more relaxed now. I think all I needed was a few hours to lie around in bed.
So you really don't think you have to go back to the hospital for anything?
I think it's for the best that I don't go. If your mom ever found out that I was there, I wouldn't have anywhere to run. Although I did lie to her about still being in the hospital.
That's probably a good idea. If she knew where you really were, she would probably come over and try to talk to you face to face.
Ben, I just want to check with you one last time. Are you sure about going along with my plan? You know that after this, you're probably never going to speak to your mom again.
I know, but if it's what I have to do to protect you and our child, then I'll do it. I wasn't able to protect you from my mom yesterday, but I won't make that same mistake again. By the way, you remember my dad, don't you?
Yeah, I remember that him and your mom split up, and then your mom got remarried, right?
That's right, although it wasn't like they divorced because they disliked each other or anything. My mom actually cheated on my dad.
Wait, what? I had no idea about that.
I know, I should have said something earlier, but I was just so embarrassed about it. I'm sorry that I wasn't more upfront about any of that with you.
Ben, you don't have anything to apologize for. I never really ask about your mom anyways. And you don't need to tell me all your family's secrets anyways.
Thank you so much for understanding, Regina. But anyway, after the divorce, my mom fought really hard to keep custody of us, and that's why we didn't end up going with our dad. But I never got along with my mom's new husband, and only tolerated him because my mom liked him so much. But he was a really strict man who wasn't afraid to punish my sister and I harshly if we acted up. Finally, I just gave up and decided to just accept whatever came my way because it was easier than fighting.
You've been through so much, Ben. I just hope you don't blame yourself for any of it.
I'm not sure, but at least I know that with you, I really feel like I can be myself. And the reason I say all of this is so that you know why it's so difficult for me to leave my mom. You see, not longer before you and I got married, my mom's second husband died. I remember that she was just crushed at the funeral. I'd never seen her so distraught and finally despondent. I couldn't bear the thought of turning my back on her. Even when she asked us to start sending her money every month, I felt that it was okay since she worked so hard to raise us.
Well, you were putting in most of the money that we were sending to her.
But of course I would. I'm her son and she came to me to ask for it. But I can't forgive her this time after what she did for you. So I'm gonna do what it takes and protect you and our child from her from here on out. In fact, I think I knew that I would come to this decision the moment you said you were pregnant. I would do anything for you both. Thank you for showing me that, Regina.
Hey, Regina! How come you haven't sent me any money this month? I thought I told you that if you stopped paying me, that would be the end of your marriage to my son.
I'm afraid that threat isn't going to work on me, Diane. Ben and I are already divorced.
Wait, what? What do you mean by that?
Are you really so surprised about that? You said that if I stopped sending you money, that you would force Ben and I to get a divorce. Well, I decided that I didn't feel like paying you anymore, so I saved you the trouble and divorced Ben myself.
You really are an idiot, you know. I must have done more damage to your head than I realized. But now that you've left Ben, you do realize that no one will ever want to marry you ever again, right? I mean, who would want a woman who couldn't even hold her first husband down? You're going to spend the rest of your life lonely and miserable. But I'll be kind and spare you that fate just this once. I'll let you marry my son again if you start sending me the money. Except this time, I want 3,000 every month. Now go ahead and thank me and tell me how grateful you are for this chance.
Diane, I think there's some kind of mistake here. Because I've already gotten married.
Wait, what? You divorced my son and have already found someone else? Does that mean you were cheating on Ben this whole time?
Cheating? No, I would never do that. I'm not you, after all. I got remarried to Ben.
What's going on here? Is this some kind of stupid game you're trying to play? So then you two never really got divorced and nothing really changed at all?
No, you still don't get it. We got married, and this time Ben took my last name.
Okay, well now I know that you must be joking. Why would my son want to throw away his family name for yours?
Well, that would be because Ben never wants to speak with you ever again.
That's a lie too. My Ben would never say something like that. Benjamin, you have got some explaining to do, young man. What is this business I hear about you taking your wife's last name? Please tell me that you didn't really.
No, it's no mistake at all. You've already done all the paperwork, so it's official. I have Regina's last name now.
Oh, you little ingrate. Well, go and reverse it right now. Or do all the years I spent raising you just mean nothing?
I know that you worked hard to raise me, Mom, and I'm thankful for all that you've done. But at the end of the day, you were my mom and that was your job. I don't think I'm obligated to do anything back for you. Besides, you were the one who went and cheated with Dad and got remarried to that horrible man. Not only that, but you two quickly started treating my sister like she was your only child, and I felt like I had no place at home.
Are you really speaking ill of the dead right now? When did you get so disrespectful?
Mom, I know how upset you were when he died, and I really was trying to pity you after he was gone. But I've reached my limits, and now I have to do what I can to protect my family.
Your family? Did you get hit in the head too? I am your family, Ben. You can't just take your wife's name and pretend like we don't exist. Besides, you don't even have any kids. How can you choose your wife over the rest of your whole real family? What did she do to turn you against us?
Enough, Mom! I seriously have had it with you! Regina is pregnant with our child, and as her husband and the father, it's my job to be there for them. And it's clear that keeping you in their life would only be a danger to both Regina and our child. I'm making the choice to protect my family from you. I never wanted it to come to this, but I never want to see you ever again.
Wait, Ben, you can't do this to me. Regina, what did you do to my son? He's blocked my number and he says he never wants to see me again. You knock some sense into this man right this second.
Diane, you really need to face reality. If Ben says he never wants to talk to you again, then I'm not going to breach that wish.
Oh, just shut up, you brat. You turned him against me and you're going to try and talk down to me? How dare you do this to me? But you still haven't beaten me, you know. I still have another child who I can go to for money.
And you really think that your daughter is going to try to do that for you? You're welcome to try, but I don't think it's going to go the way you think.
And just why is that, huh?
Well, because I've already heard that you've been spending all your money on gigolos and hiring handsome men to go out with you. In fact, I've heard you sunk so much money into doing that you're quite a bit in debt now.
Wait a second, how did you hear about all of that?
Oh, don't you worry about that. But judging from your reaction, I take it that all of that is true. So, do you really think your daughter is going to help you out of this mess you made for yourself? I can't see it happening. After all, she already has 3 kids of her own. I seriously doubt she would be able to afford to send you the kind of money that you'd be hoping for. But Ben and I aren't giving you anything anymore either. You'll just have to learn how to make do with your savings and retirement money.
Wait, so then Ben knows about all of this too?
That's right. He knows about your bad habit and the debt it's gotten you in.
Well, if you both know how much money I owe, then you have to help me. I won't be able to live if you don't keep sending me money.
I'm afraid that you and I have nothing to do with each other anymore. You'll have to figure this out for yourself.
This isn't a game. This is my life that we're talking about here. How could you do this to me?
These are going to be the last messages you ever get from me, Diane. I've already reported what you did to me to the police, and you're going to be arrested for assault and fraud.
Fraud? Are you kidding me? That isn't fair. You're just accusing me of false crime now.
But you are guilty of fraud. This whole time you've led me to think that you could barely get yourself around, and that's why you needed so much help. But you had your knees replaced a couple years ago, and you've had no health problems since then. You've just been using me this entire time.
But my legs were bad once. Doesn't that count?
It doesn't. And especially not after how much of my own money you had me spending on you under this false pretense. Anyways, enjoy jail. After that, Diane was arrested and Ben agreed to never speak to her ever again. I suppose it's only natural that a woman who cheated on her husband would turn to paying men to shower her with attention. But I later heard from Ben that even his sister cut their mom off, and that Diane was truly left with no one she could turn to for help. I hear she had to take a couple of part-time jobs just to keep up with the interest payments on her debt. Meanwhile, Ben and I have been enjoying the quiet married life and are eagerly expecting the birth of our first child.
Hey there, is this Renee, the woman engaged to a man named Frank? Who is this? I bet that right now you're starting to get concerned that your groom hasn't shown up for your wedding yet, am I right? You don't need to answer, I'm totally right. If you don't tell me who you are, I'm just going to block your number. So you have about 10 seconds to do that before I just dismiss you as some troll. Someone's grumpy. I'm Millie. I'm a 19-year-old college student, and today I'm gonna become the luckiest girl in the world when I get married to Frank. What? What do you mean? Is this a prank? Oh, I know what you're thinking. But I'm the one who's marrying Frank today. But too bad for you. Frank and I have been seeing each other for 6 months now. And today, we're finally going to get married. We're having a private ceremony for just the two of us where we'll pledge our endless love for one another. In other words, he's not going to come to your ceremony, so don't bother waiting for him. Now, I bet you're just about to start crying bitter tears of anger, jealousy, and sadness over this, so I recommend you go ahead and tell all your guests to go home before things start getting really ugly. Millie? Are you the Millie who started working part-time at our company this year? Yep, that's me. Okay, well, thank you for letting me know the situation. What's with that reaction? Were you expecting something else? Oh, I think I get it. You knew this was coming, didn't you? You had already resigned to the fact that Frank would end up leaving you eventually anyway, huh? That's probably for the best. You're nowhere near good enough for him. After all, you're a 41-year-old woman who's never been married. You have to know that no man would ever really want you. Aw, it's gonna be really hard for you to find a husband at your age, huh? I almost feel bad for you. Almost, but not quite. Sorry I'm such a bad girl and took your fiancé from you, but really, think about it. I think I speak for everyone in the world when I say this, but Who the hell would want to go to some old hag's wedding? Gross! I bet your fat rolls are pouring out of your white dress. And at your age, there is no way you would ever be able to have kids. I could go on, but I think I've said enough for now. It's clear that Frank will be way happier with a 19-year-old college girl like me than a dried-up old hag like you. I'm 19, you're 41. The choice is clear. It's like, what would you rather have? A fresh-baked loaf of bread or one that's been getting moldy beneath the fridge for 41 years? Oh, and in this analogy, you're the moldy bread.
Is there anything else you'd like to say to me, or are you finished?
What's the matter? You starting to tear up now?
I have some business to attend to, and I was just about to step outside. Thanks to you, that business just increased tenfold, so if it's all right with you, we can go ahead and end this conversation here, and I'll go on about my day.
What are you talking about? Oh, I see. Now you've got to go tell everyone waiting for you in the chapel that your fiancé left you standing at the altar because you're a dried-up old granny.
No, that's not it.
Oh, you mean no one was actually in the chapel anyway? It's like I said, who would want to see your cellulite-ridden carcass wearing a strapless dress? They'd lose their lunch for sure. Okay, well, I'll let you go and drink your sorrows away. Have a good time. As for me, I'm gonna go and exchange wedding vows with my hubby-to-be, Frank. Wedded bliss, here I come. So long, Granny. Don't forget to take your Alzheimer's meds today. How goes the wine binge, you lonely old hag?
I have a name, and it's Renee. Use it. If you're 19, then you're old enough to know what is and is not an acceptable way to speak to someone. Frank's mother, your future mother-in-law, will no doubt be on your case constantly about how you speak around her. And if you're really intent on marrying him, I think you'd better prepare yourself mentally right now for what you're about to get yourself into.
You're unreal. What are you doing here, trying to prove to me that you know Frank better than me? That you love him more than me? Well, I'm really sorry to break this to you. Actually, I'm not sorry at all. But I have a very, very important announcement to make. Would you like to hear it? Would you?
I'm very busy, so make it quick.
Just a few minutes ago, Frank and I were officially joined in the bonds of holy matrimony. We're married!
Wow. Already?
Yeah, already. Do you see now? That's how much Frank and I are in love with each other. Being married at 19 is the best. None of my friends are married. They're all gonna be super jealous when I tell them. Plus, that's definitely gonna put me ahead socially with the other girls on campus. I can just be like, step aside, girlfriend, I've got a husband.
I can only hope that it goes that well for you.
Please, keep it coming. Keep it coming. I want to take in all of your bitter jealousy. Oh, and guess what else? I'm going to move into Frank's awesome high-rise condo tonight.
Ah, I see. So that's what you were after. Frank's 38, just 3 years apart from me, but we're both more than twice your age. I was curious what on earth you would possibly see in him, but everything makes sense now.
Like I said, Granny, just keep it coming. I can taste the bitterness in each and every one of your texts.
I think you ought to know, however, that the condo Frank lives in actually belongs to your father-in-law.
Oh, really? Huh, that's weird. But whatever. I don't care whose name is on the title as long as I get to enjoy my lovey-dovey time with my new hubby, Frank.
Wow. You're something else, Millie. Not many people would willingly march straight into the gates of hell like you're doing right now. I commend your bravery.
Huh? What do you mean, the gates of hell?
But hey, if you're happy with that, then more power to you.
Hold on, what are you talking about? You're kind of freaking me out now.
Best of luck in your married life. You'll need it.
Boy, that was a whole lot of nothing. What were you acting so weird for anyway? His condo was totally normal. Frank and I had a wonderful first night as man and wife. I guess you were just trying to scare me or something. What a loser. You are so super jealous that I get Frank and you get to die alone. Now I know that I was concerned about nothing, so you can't bother me anymore. So seriously, can you grow up and move on? I know you're probably never gonna completely get over it, but I don't want you to be constantly trying to interfere with our marriage, got it? You're gonna have to face facts eventually, so you might as well do it now. You are never gonna have Frank. It is never going to happen. You read me? Never. Never. It is over. Okay, I'm gonna go back and do a little more smooching with Frankie now. Toodles! Oh my god, being a bride at 19 is the best thing I've ever done, like, bar none. I just announced on Instagram that I got married and started my life in a high-rise condo, and I am getting swarmed with likes. My phone is totally blowing up with notifications. All the other girls are super jealous of me. You should look up my Instagram account. Do you want me to tell you my username? I've got a ton of adorable pictures of me in my wedding dress. I look fantastic. It'll show you what you could have had if you were young and beautiful like me and not old and dried up like you. Renee, what is going on here?
I have no idea. You tell me.
Frank's parents just got here. Frank's mom came right up to him and gave him a huge kiss on the cheek and called him her little Frankie Poo. I thought that was gross, but then Frank called his mom Mommy. He actually called her Mommy.
Oh.
And then it gets worse. Frank said that his parents are gonna live together with us starting today. But that's not even all. Frank and his mom are gonna sleep together in the bedroom, and I'm gonna have to sleep on the living room couch. I've heard of mama's boys, but what the hell? Frank is 38.
Let me guess. Frank's dad just looks at the two of them being an absolute gross fest, shakes his head, laughs, and pretends it's just some cute mother-son affection, right?
Yes, that's exactly what he's doing. And why didn't he tell me anything about his parents living with us?
Well, if you don't like the situation, you could always divorce him.
Don't be stupid. I can't divorce him. I just announced to my Instagram followers that I got married yesterday. I'm not going to be a divorced woman at 19.
You don't want to spend your youthful years getting nauseous at the sight of that giant mama's boy living out in Oedipus complex, do you?
But if I get divorced, my social value as a woman is going to plummet.
Well, you know your options. The choice is up to you. And don't say I didn't warn you. I told you that you were marching straight towards the gates of hell, didn't I?
Well,
I told you that the condo Frank lives in is actually your father-in-law's. His parents run a pretty big real estate company, and thanks to them, Frank is able to live in condos and apartments that would ordinarily be way, way too far above his means.
you knew about that?
And it was precisely the mother-son relationship that's making you sick to your stomach right now that got me to break off our engagement 2 weeks ago.
Wait, what? You broke off your engagement 2 weeks ago?
Yep, 2 weeks ago. We both joined our company at roughly the same time around 20 years ago. So we worked together on a lot of projects, and eventually he asked me out on a date. His work was pretty good, and he seemed like a trustworthy guy, so I agreed, and we started dating. But then one fateful day, I was unfortunate enough to witness exactly how close his relationship with his mother was when I walked into the condo unexpectedly, and, well, after that, I just could never look at him the same way again.
Wow.
When I very honestly told him and his mother exactly how I felt about their relationship and why I was breaking off the engagement, his mother lost it. She told me that she had chosen me, an older woman, to care for him just like she always did. And she chose you, Millie, to fulfill his desires since you were younger and prettier than me. The last thing she ever said to me was, "Fine, I knew you would never be enough to give him what he really needs, me. And if you're not going to look after him for me, then I'll just have to take care of Frank myself." Oh, and by the way, it was that little slip-up by her that made me aware of your relationship with Frank, so you have his mother to thank for that, too.
Oh no.
And that was my first reason for breaking off the engagement, his disgusting relationship with his mother.
So, wait, what happened to your wedding yesterday?
What wedding? We canceled it a long time ago, obviously.
But didn't you say that you had a lot more work to do because of me? I thought you meant that you had a lot of work to do to cancel the wedding. You know, call the venue, the caterer, the band, all that stuff.
No, that's not what I meant at all. I was just so appalled that my ex-fiance's mistress would so brazenly announce herself to me like you did that I decided to move up the timeline of the punishment I was planning for you. I had to get a last-minute appointment with my lawyer. I was lucky he was free that morning.
What do you need a lawyer for?
Which brings me to the second reason I broke off the engagement. As I told you a short while ago, I was aware that you had some sort of relationship with my ex-fiance for some time before you texted me to rub your marriage to Frank in my face. What I didn't know was that your relationship had been going on for as much as 6 months, and that it was going on behind my back while we were engaged. In other words, that you were actually having an affair.
Yeah, well, so what?
I had been trying to get some hard evidence of exactly how long your relationship had been going on and how far you had gone because I couldn't move forward without it. But thanks to you, I now have all the evidence I could have ever hoped for. I'm going to sue the two of you for your affair.
You can't sue me. You weren't even married yet. That's not an affair.
Actually, as being engaged is, in legal terms, a contract, you could say that it's a form of tortious interference. But yes, I can sue you. My lawyer hasn't calculated the final amount yet, but you should prepare yourself to be hit for something in the realm of the low 5-digit range.
What? You can't do this to me!
You have only yourself to blame for getting involved with an engaged man. I think the paperwork should be ready within the next few days, so you'll be hearing from my lawyer shortly. I do recommend you do exactly as he says. Fighting this will only make matters worse for you.
This can't be happening. I don't have that kind of money. I'm still in college.
Millie's parents had divorced and were both remarried to different people, and they had effectively cut Millie out of their lives. Ultimately, Frank's parents had to foot the bill for both my lawsuit against him and the one against Millie. With nowhere else to turn, Millie had no choice but to accept her new position in life, living together in that condo with Frank and his parents. However, one day it seems that Frank's father finally had enough of being a third wheel for his wife and son and told his family that he wanted a divorce. And since the condo was in his name, his wife and son had no say in the matter, so he promptly kicked them all out onto the curb. At the same time, Frank, who was enjoying his life married to a woman half his age, made a massive mistake on a project that cost the company millions of dollars. This led to the discovery of years of malfeasance from him, so he was unceremoniously fired. So now we find Millie in the situation of dealing with her psychotic mother-in-law and newly unemployed husband, who is also 20 years her senior. Frank was facing criminal charges for his malfeasance at his old job, so his employment prospects were less than zero. His mother was far too busy waiting on him hand and foot to even think about getting a job herself. In the end, Millie had to drop out of college and get multiple part-time jobs in order to support the three of them.